new clothes, but Dot Frank has a different thing. Well, she's from Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Alliance Group, and she's going to tell us how that might also apply to real estate. Good morning, Dot.
Good morning.
I have all sorts of questions regarding this because, I mean, back to school shopping, you do think clothes and you can't wait for that new school outfit, right? With new pencils and things. But you're saying there's a little bit more involved with real estate. So how is that tied?
Yeah, no, I think it's really fun to dig into the relationship between real estate and schools, right? And there are some really great statistics that support price increases as a result of school performance, the location and proximity to schools, and its impact on valuations. And so it's just a really fun topic that's timely right now. And then you think about, in addition to backpacks and the new pair of shoes, and then the notebooks and pens and pencils, you know, you always have that front step photo. And so if you've got a lackluster facade, I can definitely help you get a better photo op for sure.
And you got a month to do it, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that's a great thing too. But what about, like, you take Bismarck, for example, there's like 18 different schools in this community, right? Does the elementary school matter to a lot of families? And we know high school does, but where does that fall in line?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really based on the dynamics of the buyer, right? And where are their kids in the evolution of education? And so for families who have young children, when they're shopping homes, proximity to elementary schools is really important because a lot of times those kids need to walk, right? Or busing accommodations. Is busing available, and what does that look like from a timing perspective for that family relative to parents having to work? Once the children age, you get into middle school and high school, proximity to the school doesn't matter as much as perhaps which school for activities and athletics. That's where you see people really pay particular attention to whatever sport my child is and the performance and success of that team at that specific school.
And I'm sure you have the families too who just think from K through 12, what's the best overall?
Absolutely.
And so I think all of that matters too. But, you know, do you typically see an uptick in real estate transactions this time of year or not so much?
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about that. It's interesting because we have, you know, kind of an ebb and flow when it comes to real estate activity. It definitely peaked earlier in the spring, and now it's kind of subsided. I mean, to our conversation, people are on vacation. We came off of the 4th of July. They're getting their trips in before school starts. So really the prime opportunity for people who are cognizant of schools when it comes to buying and selling is, I would say, February through July, because that allows you to market and get under contract and close before school starts at the end of August, early September.
That would make sense because you're coming out of winter, everything's greening up, you want those photos, and then, you know, you're busy for the summer, and it takes like a month or two to typically close on a house, doesn't it?
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
that can eat up summer of packing. I don't know. But, and then when it comes down to the transactions too, are you ever saving any money at all? Is there a discount like the back to school sales at all or not?
Gosh, I mean, I would love to say
Yeah.
there is. I mean, that might be an incredible marketing opportunity for some agents. I really think, you know, when it comes to shopping and paying attention to timelines associated with schools, having an agent that knows the market and can be realistic about dates and deadlines that impact you and your children in getting settled prior to school. So I've got a transaction going right now, and it's really important to them to close as soon as possible so that they can get prepared. She's an educator, so she needs to get settled and prepared for, you know, living in a new home, but then also at school and getting her classroom set up. And so there's lots of different opportunities, you know, irregardless of the closing date, when you're working with an agent to help accommodate early access, early occupancy. So have those conversations and share with your agent what your needs and desires are, and a lot of times they can find a way to accommodate them.
Yeah, so I mean, your buyer who's in the middle of a transaction now needs to get going before the school year, but is that window kind of closing at this point, or?
Right now it would be really tough to get things pulled together unless it's a cash transaction and it doesn't involve sales, and doesn't involve any sales contingencies where someone has to sell a house in order to get into another house, because then you create kind of a domino effect. That's a waiting game.
All sorts of things, but I mean, how many transactions are cash at the end of the day? So it's kind of like you got to plan ahead. And then maybe just call it Labor Day, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where can we find more information, Dot?
So yeah, additional information is available. Just Google us, I think is the best route. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Alliance Group. You can find us online, on social media, and pick up the phone. I think that's kind of the best way to get started, is to have those conversations, schedule meetings with agents like myself to talk about what opportunities exist for you and your family.
The phone call is probably the hardest part, right, to get started. Just do it. It's fun looking at houses.
Absolutely. And most agents love showing them.
Yeah, why not?